Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 3, Episode 10, Zino 2, Evolve 2, and Mavic Air 2 pictures. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope you're in for a treat because we have a great show. It's jam-packed. We got a lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to start off with Lauren. How are you this evening, Lauren?
I'm just fine. Haven't got coronavirus yet, so life is good. The weather's starting to look like spring after this weekend. We're going to be actually down to minus 17 Celsius tonight on the weekend. So there goes all the flying plans, but we'll survive it and just pray for spring.
Pray for spring. That's what I hear. Mr. Marcus Crawford, how are you this evening?
Doing well. It was a better day than yesterday. Let me put it to you that way.
Good. That's good to hear. We like hearing that kind of stuff.
Securities markets kind of helped me out a little bit more today.
I saw those numbers going up today, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Ron Braun, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, Bill. I'm still feeling healthy, and my stocks aren't feeling so healthy. I didn't even check today, but yesterday they were some of the lowest prices I've ever seen them. But I know this isn't this week in the markets, so I'm real excited today. I know Lauren's got some great information about the Mavic 2 come up in this show, and we're going to have some Zino 2 information. And as you mentioned, the Evolve. I mean, it's going to be a jam-packed show tonight, I believe.
Yes, it is.
I have a big announcement that I'm going to save for the end of the show. But
okay.
I'm going to throw it back to Bill now. He's going to start this road adventure off tonight.
We'll be looking forward to that. Now, if you want Zino Nation, and if you're a subscriber on my channel, this probably isn't a surprise to you. But in my hands, I have a Zino 1 that was sent to me. It was at first I thought it was on loan, but the anonymous subscriber who I thought loaned it to me has gifted it to me into the channel, and I just want to thank them. Just eternally grateful for that. I'm definitely looking forward to getting this bad boy out and getting some more testing in on it, and I can hardly wait till the Zino 2 comes because I can do Zino 1, Zino 2 comparisons. So I'm looking forward to it. I really like it. It's a blast. Be sure to watch my video, my first flight video that I put out on it. And I'm praying for some less wind. Wind has just been horrible here lately. Temperature's been great. Wind's not so much. Okay, we're going to start off with Zino 2. All right, why not start off with Zino 2? Okay, and I know Lauren's probably going to sit back and relax here during this. But Marcus, what's the status of your order?
It's kind of interesting. So I've been watching that tracking pretty darn close. The darn thing sat in Cedar City, Utah for 2 days, but it's finally on the move, and it's in Salt Lake right now, and it should be here. It's projected to deliver before 8 p.m. tomorrow. So
okay. Well, it's kind of like charging a Zino battery. It's like go out, get a cup of coffee, come back a couple hours later, and you might have something there.
Exactly right. Just be patient.
Let's be patient. Ron, how's the status of yours?
Well, I've got live tracking right here on the famous GearBest app. And as of last night, about 9:30, it was in Genova, Ohio. Am I saying that right? Genova?
I think it's Geneva, Ohio.
Geneva, Ohio at 9:30, and it hasn't been scanned in place today, so maybe it's on the final truck bringing it to the East Coast. Let's hope so. But it was Illinois. It's been in Kansas City. It was in New Mexico. So California. So it's really had a good tour of the U.S.
Well, knows the United States, the heart of the Midland. There. I mean, it's everything. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, for me, unfortunately, I've sent out an email to Hubson, my contact there, have not heard back. I've sent out a couple of emails, haven't heard back. The last I heard from me is March 23rd, so I'm still crossing fingers. Now, as we
I thought it was real interesting last night when David, that's Kluge over YouTube, he was on our Zino Nation show last night, and he told us he ordered his Zino 2 directly from the Hubson site in the beginning of February, and he got it like within a month's time. He had it in the beginning of March. So that's almost the best ordering story I've heard yet.
Well, now I found out last night. Well, I found out the other day that Hubson US, if you order it with the 2 batteries in the case, it ships out immediately. It's in the U.S. It just boggles the mind, how all this has gone down and transpired. You were going to say something, Lauren?
Yeah, I checked with Hubson. They can't find my order.
I like that. That's pretty good. So this is where things stand for the Zino 2. Looking forward to when Ron and Marcus and myself get ours. And we'll get some videos out about it, and we'll do some comparisons. So stay tuned. We got lots of great stuff coming up as far as that's concerned.
And hopefully next Monday night on Zino Nation, there'll be two Zino 2s on set, right, Marcus?
Oh yes. That will be wonderful to see that. So make sure you guys tune in next Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, to Zino Nation. You don't want to miss it, because there's probably going to be 2 Zino 2s there, and maybe the week after there might be 3. There might be. There really could be. This could really happen.
Marcus, I may have to jump a flight to Florida and fly the 3 amigos together, except for the fact that we shouldn't get on any planes with the coronavirus hanging around. So, Marcus, I may have to drive to Florida.
You probably have to drive. That's probably the way to go as far as that's concerned. Well, we do have some other news. We're going to shift from the Zino 2 here. Now, y'all remember, I have a picture of this. I want to get this up on.
We need the picture.
Got a picture here. Now, y'all remember the X Dynamics Evolve 2, and I know Marcus had a chance to see it when he was at CES, and was the looks of this drone are to die for.
It's a very sexy looking drone.
Yeah, and Lauren saw it too. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that definitely gets your attention right away. And they did do a number of improvements to it this year, and everybody's really looking forward to it. Now, understand that the price point, and this is one thing, I get a lot of comments on this. It's not a drone for me because of the price. And I said, well, understand that this was geared between the Phantom 4 series and the Inspire series. It was meant to kind of bridge that gap as far as that's concerned. It's not as expensive as an Inspire, but it's more than a Phantom 4. Well, we have the coronavirus has caused a lot of issues, and one of them has been delays with things from China. Of course, it was inevitable. You knew it was going to happen here. So what I'm going to share here is X Dynamics put this out on their site the other day. And basically what they're saying is, because of the epidemic, the partial closure of some of our sites, we cannot realistically meet this deadline anymore, April, without jeopardizing the performance of our product, and consequently decided to push back the release. So, and I'll let you read this at your leisure if you want to go ahead and do that. So, this is something that they had to do. They didn't have a choice, and it's understandable in this instance. I mean, that's just something that they're going to have to work through, and obviously, there's a human element to this as well too. Not only they're dependent upon parts and suppliers, but also it was devastating over in China. It's somewhat leveled off right now, but it really had a devastating impact. And it's good to see that they communicated this well to everybody. What are your guys' thoughts about this?
You want to go first, Marcus?
Well, yeah, sure. Well, what I'll say, that X Dynamics Evolved drone is so far ahead of a hack like me's head. I mean, it is a fantastic professional product. Now, it was beautiful. I enjoyed looking at it and checking it all out. But yeah, it's not something that I would ever use, and it's too bad. But I mean, I think that's just based on the reality that we're living in right now. Yeah, anything out of China is going to be delayed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I got a comment and a question. I didn't get to see the Evolve drone, but I saw the. I seen pictures and videos of the first one last year, and of course I saw all the publicity at CES this year for the new Evolve 2. And again, it does look like a tremendous drone. But I agree with Marcus. I think it's more of a a drone for somebody who's we'll call a professional pilot, somebody who's making money with their drone. That it's a little over the top for just a consumer, somebody just flying for fun. I mean, unless you have a lot of extra money to burn, which probably you don't after you get to the stock market. But my question to Bill or Lauren, you mentioned about the of course the terrible coronavirus and delays in China. Is Evolve a Chinese company?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was actually very impressed with that drone. The specs on that, it's definitely a prosumer drone, not really a consumer drone. It's not up to the high end, but it has got just absolutely amazing specs, like top speed of 60 miles an hour. Wow, that thing is absolutely fast. The interchangeable cameras really rates up there. It uses a 4/3 camera, so that's professional quality.
It's a micro 3/4, right? Yeah. It's a 4/3 is a different thing. People get confused, but there is a 4/3 format also.
Yeah, no, it's a 4/3. In other words, the sensor is probably about 30% bigger than the 1-inch sensor, but your actual usable pixels is not really great. But they're using a larger pixel, which drastically improves the video quality. So. But no, I was overall very, very impressed with the drone, and quiet. It is just absolutely quiet. Marcus can probably tell you, you can be standing 3 or 4 feet away at CES and you couldn't even hear this drone. It was just that quiet.
That's very true. I agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive for a drone that size. It really is that it's that quiet.
Well, one of the things that I have to say here is, they have been very communicative regarding this. I know that they had put out something about maybe a month or so ago about when they were planning on, that April that was a time frame for them, but now that's been pushed back. But they're doing the right thing. I mean, obviously, they don't want to rush this. They want to get it out. They want to get it right. There was a lot of things that went on with the Evolve 1, if you want to call it that really needed to be improved upon, and really hoping that they've done that, because again, competition in this market is great. Having them to challenge DJI, makes them better, and it makes DJI better and gives us better products. Even in the prosumer level here. So,
Bill, I just want to add that, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. After I'm going to call the Evolve 1 launch somewhat of a failure, that this Evolve 2, they have to get this one right.
I agree, Ron. I agree.
They can't go through the same thing they did a year ago.
Exactly. It's the same thing, and we're going to talk about it next week. We were scheduled to talk about it tonight for the Evo 2. Okay. Kudos to Autel for being communicative on this. And it's as important to X Dynamics as it is to Autel. Autel needs to come out of the gate with the Evo 2 with, hitting the ground running. And it's the same thing with X Dynamics with the Evolve 2. They have to do that. They can't stumble. Okay. They have to hit a home run with this. So, because I know I watched a lot of the Evolve 1 videos, and, it was like, ooh, I kind of cringe sometimes looking at some of that stuff. I saw some, Billy did one, Ken did one. I think Ken Herron had it. There was just, Captain Drone had one. There was a lot, there was a lot to like, but there was a lot of things that were just plain wrong and needed to be fixed. So apparently they've done their homework, and, this is something I think we're going to look forward to.
And talking to the guys there, their team that they had at CES, that's pretty much what they said. Is we've listened to what the people have said, and even just talking to them, it sounded like they really cared about what my opinion was, and they really are making a serious effort to make this the best drone that they can. Is it going to be the world's best drone? No, but the world's best drone only lasts till the next drone comes along.
Yeah, that's a great statement there, Lauren. It really is, and it's very true. So, well, we were going to talk about and spend a lot of time on the Evo 2 tonight, but we're going to delay that. We're going to push that off to next week because some news broke today. And there were some pictures of a drone that were leaked today. Okay, I'll use that in quotes, okay? The Mavic Air 2. Now, what we're going to do is this. Lauren's going to walk through these pictures and go through some of the features of the Mavic Air 2. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to discuss this. So, Lauren, I'm going to go ahead and put your screen up on there, and you can take it away, sir.
Okay, we've kind of talked about this before, and a lot of these pictures really leave little doubt to a lot of the stuff that I had discussed earlier. I don't know how well you guys can see my mouse, but anyways, if you look at the overall size of the drone, it's bigger than the original Mavic Air. And I think we need to almost stop, because I don't think they're going to be calling this the Mavic Air 2. I actually believe they're just going to be calling it a Mavic. And I will show you why in a slide or two. But anyways, from our discussions, as you can see, that motor design is entirely a different motor design than the previous Mavic Air. The overall size is bigger. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of the drone with the wings unfolded, but new gimbal design, and that leads into another part of the overall design change. If you remember with the Mavic Air, it had a real issue with up camera angle, so that if you went into hard acceleration, you were kind of looking at the ground most of the time. So that has been resolved with both the body design change as well as the new gimbal. As you can see, you've got the sensors on the bottom here, as well as the ground lighting, which is kind of a nice little feature. That really shows off the back sensor here, if you can see my mouse at all. And the new prop design. So that was part of what I was talking about a few months ago. New motors, new ESCs, new battery. Probably expect a flight time of around 30, possibly as much as 35 minutes. Now this one here is probably the most telling one. If you look at the remote controller, a lot of people saying, well, that's ugly. But if you look at it, it kind of looks like the new smart controller, does it not? And that leads me to believe that this is most likely going to have OcuSync, just like the smart controller does. Some of the other things, and with that OcuSync, of course, we're going to have the much better signal range. And but unfortunately, with the slides, you can't really tell whether or not the side sensors are there, but it should have side sensors for full 360 obstacle avoidance. And finally, no big shock, but it's going to have ADS-B. Back to you, Bill.
Well, that's definitely, there's a lot to digest there. I mean, that's enough. That's enough to talk about for a long time. But what I want to do is this. I'm going to what I want for everybody is their reaction to this, and I'm going to start here. I'm just going to make I'm going to start out. I'm going to say, and I shared this with everyone, and they laughed. I said it's like a Mavic Mini on steroids. Okay, I love it. Don't get me wrong here, and I think this is going to have a real niche, a real niche here. It's gonna fit in perfectly, okay, with these specs. And I think for me personally, the number one thing I was looking for from this was OcuSync, okay. And if this has OcuSync and it's under $1,000, okay, it's not going to sell. It's not going to outsell the Mavic Mini, but I'll tell you what, it's going to give it a real run for its money because it's going to have that 4K camera in there. It's going to have OcuSync, which everybody knows that the biggest beef about the Mavic Air was that doggone Wi-Fi, and its range, and especially in urban areas, it was horrible. I mean, I didn't experience it, and I know Marcus didn't experience it, but I know a lot of people did, and that was a real pain point with a lot of people. And the other thing too is, it sticks with the tried and true design. Okay, it's something that worked not only for the original Mavic Pro, but worked for the Mavic 2 series, now the Mavic Mini, and now this may be being called the Mavic or Mavic here. It really is just something I think is going to do very well. Whoever wants to go next, go for it.
One of the other key things that they're also resolving is the noise factor. If you remember, the Mavic Air was noisy, and it was an irritating noise. It wasn't just loud; it was just irritating noise. And those new motors, ESCs, and props really addresses that. And by the way, I've already ordered mine, so.
Pre-order. I also pre-ordered mine from GearBest today. I got a tracking number. Will be here on December 24th.
Christmas Eve.
Eve.
So a thought occurred to me that, and Lauren, you said it, that it'll probably just be called the Mavic, not the Mavic Air 2. So this may very well be the new mainstream drone, prosumer drone for DJI, and have a lot of the features that somebody like me might be looking for. It looks, clearly it's going to be a little bit heavier. It's going to have, there's no question that's a 4K camera, right? They wouldn't make it without that. So let me throw this out at you. What if the Mavic 3 or whatever they call that then becomes a level above a Mavic Pro, so to speak, that is just going for just like the new Evo 2 with an 8K camera and all those other features, higher end features that quite frankly are a little bit above what somebody like me is looking for. This may be the middle of the road Mavic that has all the range and has all the features that a prosumer flyer, quite frankly, like me, would be interested in.
Yeah, great comment, Marcus. I see where you're going there, and it makes a lot of sense. I want to shout out to FSU Grad 03. That's DeMarco in the chat. He's a good comment. He says, "I'm sold." Enough said. When Lauren went over the specs of this this new drone, I'll call it the wannabe Mavic Air 2, which probably won't be that. And I saw another comment. I can't scroll back to find it, but somebody called it the Mini Pro. So they were some highlight comments from the chat. But to this drone, the specs that Lauren laid out, again, they sound terrific. I think they've covered all the bases here, and Marcus said, they've kind of taken it to another level. It's not really a kind of a smaller, I hate to use the word entry level with the Mavic Air since it had so many good features, but this is kind of a step above, bigger, stronger, can much more battery life, not just a little more battery life. I mean, battery life up to the point where, it's right up there with what we're experiencing now with our Mavic 2s. And it all makes sense because if it does have OcuSync 2 on it, it can't have 20 minutes of battery life there, because if you took it out as far as it could go, you couldn't get it back. So it needs that battery life to go along with the increased range of the the OcuSync 2.0, which again, that would be the killer feature. This all sounds good. I mean, I'm like DeMarco, I'm sold, I'm in. But then I backtrack. Wait a minute. If we're putting OcuSync 2 in here and we're putting 30 minutes of battery life in here, what's that going to do to the price point here? That's definitely going to raise up another notch. And back to Marcus' theory, if it's kind of replacing the Mavic 2, being that the Mavic 3 is going to be like, a really high-end, 1-inch sensor and, maybe 8K or whatever, this maybe is going to slot in that kind of like, Lauren's. I'm going to stop my thought mid sentence because Lauren has an answer. Lauren, take it away.
Yeah, actually, answer Scott's question. Expect the release date is probably going to be April or May. It's supposed to be second quarter, anyways, which basically will be April or May. Price point Canadian is expected to be 11 to 1,200 Canadian dollars. So for you guys, it should be under 1,000.
Well,
And if you can get it with the smart controller, boys, I'm in.
Yeah,
Well,
that's another question for Lauren. Okay, now if this has OcuSync 2 in it, is there any possibility that will run with the older smart controller?
good question. Don't know. I'll be honest with you. Don't know.
That's something to look into.
I believe, and I've only heard just rumbles, is that it will be compatible with the new smart controller. So that's part of what makes me believe it's going to be OcuSync. Now, those are just grumblings I've heard. Nothing is confirmed.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Now, you said the word new smart controller.
Yes.
Ooh, that's intriguing, gentlemen.
So that's remains to be seen because, like I say, I've only heard grumblings on it. Some stuff I'm still awaiting confirmation. But
okay, well, this is definitely something it's exciting because I think, and Marcus hit on a real good point here when he was talking about like the Mavic 3 series. Let's call it that, and being in this plateau and being the 8K and then maybe a 6K with a 1-inch sensor, and then having a new dual thermal imaging, kind of like doing tit for tat with Autel, matching what they have to say and keeping it, almost kicking it up to a prosumer type level. Okay. And then the Mavic as we'll call it, really kind of fitting in between a beginner drone like the Mavic Mini and the Mavic 3 series, really filling a real nice niche there for somebody who's looking for a consumer drone that wants, professional, looking video, wants a good runtime with it, wants good range with it, wants a safe drone with, 360 optical avoidance and ADS-B in it. I mean, and they keep this under $1,000, gentlemen. It's really going to give the Mavic Mini a run for its money in terms of sales. I'll tell you that right now. And when it gets to be time to pre-order, okay, it's like I'm signing. I can tell you that right now.
Bill, should I put my Mavic Mini on eBay now and like Marcus said, build up my war chest?
Build up your war chest. Go for it.
Can you share my screen again, Bill?
Sure thing.
Yeah. Just something Marcus said. If you have a nice close look, what is it? That says on the bottom Mavic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they have been kind of renaming the line of drones because we used to have the Spark, right? And that's gone, and they went to the Mavic Mini. And rather than having a Mavic Air, just Mavic. And I suspect that the Mavic 3 will end up being just the Mavic Pro. My thoughts. Don't know, but I think they're cleaning up the product line names.
That's exactly where I was going with it, Lauren. That's the exact same thought I had. I totally agree.
And I think, and you bring up a good point here, Lauren, because, and Marcus too, with the, differentiating the drones, because, when you think of the Mavic Pro, okay, the original one, you have this picture in your mind. It's like, for example, somebody says, DJI Phantom. Okay, boom. You have the iconic image in your mind. All right. With a Mavic Pro, you have the image in your mind. All right. The Spark, everybody gets an image. And now with this, okay, when you're talking about a Mavic Mini, okay, people will know the image. When you're talking about a Mavic Pro, a Mavic 3, people will have an image. And when you talk about a Mavic, people will have an image. So, and I think this is good marketing on DJI's part because they're differentiating it between the let's call three, classes of we'll call them, for lack of a better term, consumer level drones. and putting some distinctions between them. And that's actually very smart marketing, okay? Because, you know, we'll have the Mavic Mini will be appealing to the beginners and the newbies and people just getting into quads. You know, with the Mavic itself or Mavic, you know, it'll appeal probably mostly to people like us, wanting to kick up, you know, but not wanting to spend the, you know, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. And then, you know, there's going to be the Mavic Pro or the Mavic 3 series where you're going to have people who are going to want that extra, who are going to want the 8K, who's going to want the 6K with a 1-inch sensor, who's going to want the dual thermal imaging for, you know, maybe, you know, search and rescue capabilities or, you know, other types of things that you're able to do with it. So it really is kind of lending itself is a very smart marketing move on DJI's part.
Yeah, they cover all their different customers in a simple and understandable line. The worst thing to do is to go in to a product you don't know a lot about and you can't make sense of the names, and that's over drones or any other category. And just in our beloved Zinos, if you came in, if you never heard of a Zino before, and you started shopping for Zino and you want the best Zino, you'd probably buy the Zino Pro because it's the Pro, right? Well, the Zino Pro is not the best Zino. The naming is confused, just like the current Mavic line's a little bit confused. I mean, like, for instance, when the Mavic Pro first came out, it was the very first Mavic. It should have just been the Mavic. They should have saved the Pro name for the next one or the better one. So I totally agree with cleaning up the names and the product line. It is going to be a great help for new consumers to pick the proper drone for themselves, and placing this supposed just Mavic in the middle of the lineup or the top of the middle, you know, like quite an advancement over the Mini, and enough drone for most people that aren't professionals or real, we'll say real high-end amateur photographers that may need the 1-inch sensor of a Mavic 2 Pro or going forward just a Mavic Pro. If what we laid out here is correct, I think it's a great business decision on DJI's part, and it should help sell more units for people like Lauren.
Yeah, the good conversation this afternoon. Somebody was talking to me about the camera specs, and they were saying, well, why didn't they go to the 4K 60? Well,
this isn't going to have 4K 60.
No, it's going to be 4K 30.
Okay.
It's not going to be 4K 60, and part of the reason is because then if you go to 4K 60, then you're kind of biting the toenails of the Mavic 2 or the Mavic 2 series as well as possibly the 3, right?
Right.
And why buy a Mavic 2 if I can get a Mavic Air that does 4K 60, right? And it's cheaper.
Right.
So you're not going to see great improvement in specs. Overall dynamic color software is supposed to be slightly better, but yeah. Steven says it the best. Everybody wants the bell and whistle for the price of a Mini.
My only rebuttal to that, Lauren, is the problem is if they don't put 4K 60 in, and you say they're not going to, it won't be long before they have a lot of other companies chipping at their heels with 4K 60 on that price drone or less, and they're going to lose sales to other companies that offer that feature.
I don't think so.
Well, we have the Evo 1, which is 4K 60. So I know the Evo 1 has stolen a lot of sales from people who want 4K 60 affordably, and also they like the fact that Evo doesn't have all the restrictions or whatever. So I mean, already the Evo has done it. It's just the fact that the Altel messed up with the delay of the first Evo not getting it out earlier. Just my opinion, of course.
Hey, Ron, so you put me on to Potato Jet's video about frame rates.
Mm-hmm.
And we've discussed it. 30 frames per second is probably all I ever need in 4K.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
I bet you Air Photography's in the chat here. I bet he'd tell us the same thing. But your point is well taken. A lot of people just look at those specs. I mean, look at the splash that the Zino 2 is making with 4K 60 frames per second. It's for the kind of video that I'm dealing with, I just don't need those kind of capabilities.
Yeah, Marcus and I've talked about it greatly. There's a lot of confusion about frame rates out there. And as Marcus said, I recommend going over watching Potato Joe's video, and it's not a most new video you have to dig for. But see, it's a lot of people in the market who equate 4K 60 to be a better camera. And that's not necessarily the case. It could be, but just because you have 4K 60 doesn't mean you have a superior camera to something that's 4K 30. Again, we could talk the rest of the night on 4K 60 versus 4K 30, but
well, Stephen Ewing put it really well, because everybody wants a Cadillac, but they're paying for like an entry level Chevrolet. Okay, I mean it's not going to happen. All right, but look at the bang for the buck here, and realize something, that in this package, with the potential prices that we're talking about with this, everything that you're getting in this package, it's an incredible amount of technology if you really stop and think about it. All right, having this kind of a battery life, having OcuSync with this, having ADS-B, having 360 obstacle avoidance in it, and a compact folding drone that's bigger than a Mavic Mini, but it's smaller than a Mavic 2. It's going to fit a real nice niche. It's really going to be that portable go-to drone. And the other thing for this too, and I know a lot has been said about it, and I know Marcus, I think we've all experienced it, is taking the Mavic Mini and getting those wind warnings up there. Now, we've got used to it, and then obviously, DJI put out a firmware update that took care of some of those. But I mean, there's a lot of times, I would love to get the Mini up, but it's just not. But I got to put my Phantom or Mavic up, because it's just not going to be able to handle that wind. Whereas in this instance, with the Mavic, okay, it's going to be able to handle something like that. What are you guys' thoughts on it being bigger and being able to handle more things than the Mini?
Okay, so you just touched a nerve with me, Bill. So one of the things that I'm always just amazed at, I hear people talk about the Mavic Mini, and they wanted to have follow me, and they wanted to have this, and they wanted to have that. It is an amazing piece of technology for $400. It flies amazing, and I totally agree with you, Bill. It doesn't handle the wind like a more powerful drone. But it was $400, and it's pretty cool for $400. So anyway, so this drone, this new Mavic, it looks like it's going to take us, just like you suggest, Bill, to that next level above for people that want that next level of performance. But of course, no doubt it's going to be a heavier drone. So, for instance, if I'm going up to Canada to see Lauren, it isn't that one I'm taking with me. I'll be bringing the Mini.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. And to answer Bill's question about this being much better in the wind than the Mini, and again, it's all price versus performance. The Mini's a $399 drone. This is a $999 drone. There's going to be it better be much better in the wind. It better not be the same wind performance at that higher price. I mean, so just right that price, you got to have expectations of the wind. But I'm going to ask Bill and maybe Lauren the tough question here. Okay, we got the US $999 price point, and Laura's gave us, what we think is going to be the specs. But from what I just heard, this doesn't sound like it's much of an upgrade over back to the Evo 1. I could go right now to walk down to Best Buy and buy the Evo 1, which has 4K 60 and about the same flight time, and a lot of the same camera features, whatever. I could get that right now. Why am I sitting around waiting for this Mavic, which basically doesn't sound like it's much of an upgrade over the 2-year-old Evo 1 at the same price point?
It's going to be
I could wait for a sale and find the Evo for $899.
Well, here, I'm going to answer your question, Ron. Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
One of the number one ADS-B. Okay. That sells a drone, I think, instantly. Okay. Having that capability, because I've seen it before, I've seen it used, and it's to die for. I mean, every time I go out now, I'm hearing more private planes out there, and I'm like, gosh darn it, it's like, and I'm cranking my head, looking around, trying to see where they're at and everything. This eliminates that. Okay, you have zero room for error with something like that, having ADS-B on your drone. Okay, the other thing is it has 360 obstacle avoidance. The Evo 1 does not. I know a lot of people that when they were backing up their Evo 1s, it doesn't have a sensor on the rear, and boom, came down the Evo 1. So I think for those two reasons, for me, you got to go with the Mavic or Mavic.
Hey, let me add one more, Bill.
Go for it, Marcus.
We don't know this, but the potential for the smart controller, that's a big deal to me.
Yeah, that really, that is huge. That's,
Just remember that is my postulation based on the design, the look of that controller. Because if you look at it, and Bill, you've got a smart controller, minus the screen, it looks almost identical, right?
It really, it just begs for that, Lauren. You're right. It really does. I mean, the design and the pieces would fit in with something like this. I mean, it would make a lot of sense as far as that's concerned. So, it's exciting, and we're on the verge of it because April's coming up. And one thing that you know of, and that kind of like, I can kick back and breathe a sigh of relief. When it comes time to get one, all right, I don't have to contact the good folks at GearBest to do this. Okay. I can either hit up Best Buy like I did or DJI and know that within a week or so, it's going to be sitting on my doorstep. Okay. There won't be this 4 months of waiting for like a Zino 2, which is going to turn out to at least be for us. So
Bill, I have a question. What will happen first? Will this new map, we'll just call it the Mavic, be released, or will you get your Zino 2? What will happen first?
There's odds. There's
cool.
Right now, I'm on the phone with a bookie in Vegas. They're calculating the odds right now. So I'm getting ready to place that. And that's the sad fact of that. Okay, that's a whole nother night, a whole nother topic, a whole nother conversation with that. Okay, as far as that's concerned,
we could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, we could absolutely do a whole show on that. Okay, well, we have some time here, and I want to talk about the Evo 2, and I think we have enough time to do that. And one of the things that Autel said was in a recent statement, and to their dealers was, the last 2 weeks of March, things they're gonna start ramping up and be able to go on sale, which means that's good news. All right, I know a lot of times everybody has said that this panel here is like, oh, you guys are DJI fanboys and yada 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 and all that. Well, you know what? Okay, we're drone fanboys here. Okay, all of us, all four of us on this panel, we're drone fanboys. When Autel succeeds, everybody wins. When DJI succeeds, everybody wins. When Hubsan succeeds, everybody wins because they keep driving it up. They keep cranking it up a notch, okay? Yeah, the Zino 2 was a pain point, waiting for this daggone thing for so many months. But, I saw what Ron and Marcus went through with their Zino 1 and getting it to the point where it's at now. It's a fantastic drone, okay? And the Zino 2 is going to get there as well, too. But with the Evo 2, okay, this is good news, guys. This is nothing but good news. This is coming up around the corner. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll say right off the bat, I got Stephen Ewing is interested in the Evo 1. Apparently he's coming to Florida soon, and he's going to be looking for it in a Best Buy store. So you may have to scope him out for him, Bill. But I mean, that's the great thing about Autel. Listen, they've got the Evo 2 on the verge of coming out in the next couple of weeks, but the Evo 1's still a relevant drone. I mean, I think that's great that this drone is 2 years old and still a relevant drone. And of course, it's great promise for the new Evo 2. And unfortunately, we've been delayed. They supposedly had a software bug that delayed them initially in February. And of course, the coronavirus came along and that pushed them back again. And now we've been, told through a letter they sent to their dealers about a week ago that it would be arriving near the middle to the end of March. Bill quoted today, the last 2 weeks of March. And today is the 10th already, or 11th. I never knew the 10th. So we're already, I mean, we're days away from the middle of March. So I mean, we're almost hit that period, and it's going to be a very exciting time with the Evo, 2 being released, and then maybe only a month later, the new Mavic coming out. And I know we're throwing around April or May for the Mavic, and I know I'm the pessimist, but I'm usually writing this stuff. If a company says it's coming out in May, that doesn't mean May 1st. That means May 31st or whatever, or
Could
April.
be. Very well could be, yeah.
It's always on the last day of the month. It's not coming out in the first.
Listen, so Bill, to Bill's point, we are almost living in the heyday of consumer drones right now, because there's just some awesome products coming out, and it's helping everybody, right? It's helping when DJI comes out with something new, it pushes Autel. When Autel comes out, it's pushing DJI to do something different. Hubsan hits that bargain price point with a bunch of features that helps all of us. The black cloud that I see has nothing to do with the drones that are coming out, but potential oppressive rules and regulations by the FAA. So hopefully, if we can get past that, drone life is good right now.
Yeah, it could be kind of the heyday, as you say. Depending on what happens with you guys, we got a little bit of a change coming up in Canada. I shouldn't say coming up, it just got released. We were going to kind of discuss this, but Transport Canada has now shut down the borders to all foreign drone operators other than commercial. And that basically is because they were getting way too many requests. The process to fly a drone in Canada is you had to file for a SFOC, which is a Special Flight Operating Certificate. They've had so many requests that they just literally couldn't keep up. The upside is that they're looking at trying to streamline that process, but unfortunately, they're not going to open it up again until January of next year. Now, the real upside, if you're going to be foreign, if you got a Mavic Mini, you're just good to go.
That's interesting. That's real interesting.
Yep, because the Mavic Mini, because it's under the 250, does not follow any Canadian regulations under other than 900.06, which states that you can't fly to endanger aircraft or people.
Okay. Wow.
Other than that, it's the Wild West with the minis. So
it's like when you cross the borderline into the state of Florida, it's a drive at your own risk. It's pretty. Oh, I got to share this with everybody today. I'm on my way home, and every day on my way home, I'm going to digress from drone talk for just a minute here. All right. And you count your lucky stars every day. Driving home, and I always talk to Valerie when I'm driving on the way home today. And as soon as I go through an intersection on the other side, boom, it was a horrific crash. You can hear glass and metal all over the place. Okay. And it's like, it puts things into perspective. Okay. I called 911. I didn't know the name of the cross street, but I knew where the other one was, and they was able to get them the information. So, it's like you count your lucky stars every day, and you count your blessings. So I did for sure. It's just kind of like you put things into perspective with everything here. But getting back to this, the other things that I wanted to talk about was when the Evo 1 came out. All right, Autel pretty much pulled the plug on the X-Star Premium. All right. There was no really, in essence, there were no batteries for it. Propellers ran out. They really just yanked the rug out from the X-Star Premium owners, and they were kind of left like holding the bag. I'd long since sold mine, but the one thing with the X-Star Premium was they had done a firmware upgrade, but it was a beta, and it never really, the beta ended up being official without making it really official. So I think one of my concerns is that with the Evo 1, considering there's a lot of them out there and a lot of people bought them, that Autel's going to still support that, not only in terms of software, but having parts availability like batteries and props and so forth for that. Because, you know, a lot of people really, you know, like the Evo. I mean, they really, it's a drone that fits their needs. It does it well. It's 4K 60, you know, under $1,000. It's, you know, it's a great drone. It handles very well. So, you know, that's one of the concerns that I have right now, for that Autel's going to be able to keep up with that, because I know, you know, they've kind of shrunk as far as their staff is concerned. So, you know, that remains to be seen, and I'm very hopeful of this. But, you know, like Ron said, May 31st probably is we'll probably start seeing them, you know, but hopefully a lot sooner than that. I think from what Rick Smith said, and I read it, and I think it was a comment to Marcus, was, you know, they're in warehouses, they're ready to go, that this was just a software type of issue. So, you know, it's not like they're waiting for them to be built. So this is a good thing, and this really is going to bode very well for all of us. And like I said, everybody's a winner with something like this. So, gentlemen, do you have any thoughts on anything?
What, Marcus?
You know, drone related here, okay? Drone related.
Actually, William Grace wanted to talk about Zero Robotics, the Falcon.
Oh yeah. The Falcon. I think last we heard on from Zero Robotics was they said that they were experiencing a delay, and that they were going to keep everybody apprised of that, and haven't heard anything since. And I think that was like right after CES, they came out with something about a delay, and there hasn't been any information from Zero Robotics on that. I know a lot of people put money down on that because put money down on it before December 31st. I think you got it for a great price. I mean, you know, it went up to, I think, $999 after January 1st. So
I think our good friend Brian Singleton ordered it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, Lauren and I both actually got to handle it at CES, and I'll be interested to see what Lauren thinks. I mean, the controller felt like a very toy grade controller. And one thing that was very telling at CES is they did not have an operating example of it. It was sitting in a static display, nailed to the ground, and they would spin the props up, but that's all you could see. Kind of tells me they wouldn't put it in the cage and fly it around. So it tells me that there's probably some development work yet to go on that. Lauren, what do you think?
Actually, you brought up one of the huge points that I was going to is the fact that we didn't actually see a flying drone there. And if you look at the videos that they've released so far, to me, they honestly look like CGI. They don't look like an actual flying drone. And they seem to have big dreams, but I was really turned off at their booth, because I could hardly get somebody to discuss anything of any matter, right? They just wanted to tell you how wonderful the drone was, but when I tried to hit them with questions on specs and stuff like that, they wanted to gloss over that, and that kind of turned me off. And then the drone that you're referring to, it was on a turntable, and they powered it up, and they showed how the rotors tilt, and they could turn it around in circles on this platter. And I'm kind of going, well, that's great if I've got a lazy Susan in the middle of my kitchen that I need to turn, but does it fly? Just,
yeah.
That was the impression I got. So it kind of turned me off. And it's funny because we could actually get those very easily because we have Zero Robotics dealership, but we're not going to, because basically I wasn't impressed with what we seen at CES. So
no, I agree with Lauren. I think, you know, all that we saw, the only real footage that we saw have been in cages, and the other footage that I saw it's on their website. It's in a parking lot. Okay. It did like a droney and it did a follow me of somebody in a parking lot, but it was really low level flying. It wasn't anything way up in the air at all for this. So I'm just the jury is out as far as I'm concerned on that.
Bill, before you move on, I've noticed that Ron Brown is really quiet about this one. Do you think he's under NDA?
I think he is. I think you're right, Marcus. Ron always accuses Marcus and I of being under NDA for certain things, okay? And here's Ron. He's just been whisper quiet on this one the whole time, okay? Whereas Yours Robotics has him in his back pocket, okay?
Come on. So, Ron, tell us. Come on, you got to let us know.
You want the inside info? You want the inside scoop?
Yes.
I'm not saying anything because I have almost zero interest in this drone. I wouldn't buy it if it was, I don't know, name me some low price. I wouldn't get it no matter what. I have zero interest in it, so I don't have any input. It's about as much chance of me getting a zero drone as it is the Evolve drone or whatever.
Well, it's interesting that they chose you for development then, Ron.
To be honest, if they would have had that thing flying at CES, I'd get one just for the novelty. Just because it's the first real bicopter, consumer bicopter, right?
Well, I mean, what it looks like is in my heyday when I had a bunch of toy drones, it looks like something you buy off of GearBest or Banggood for $79.99 or whatever, and it supposedly has all these features, but when you get it home, most of it doesn't work. It looks like that type of drone to me. It reminds me of the toy grade, but I don't mean to down. I mean, listen, I haven't touched this drone. This could be the greatest drone in the history of drones. I'm not down it for anybody who ordered it, anybody who's thinking about ordering it. Again, I don't know anything about it except just what you guys just said. So I'm not down it at all. I'm just, it hasn't caught my interest. That's not to say in a couple months when it's out and it's flying around great and doing all these great things, I'll jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, give me that Zero drone. So that's all I got to say as far as jump and say.
So what you're saying is Zero is a good name for it.
Zero interest for my part.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Marcus, that's cruel.
Hey, Bill, can I throw something real fast before we wrap up here?
Sure can.
I got a new show to promote. Right after this show tonight, if Bill is going to let me, I could drop the link in here. I want a new show with Mike from Philly Drone Life. We don't have a show title yet. And our subject, it's a show about nothing. We mostly talk about drones and editing on the iPad. And Mike got a whole bunch of issues today trying to get his iPad editing his videos. There's mostly drones, editing, tech stuff like that or whatever. But it's kind of a show about nothing. We don't have
nothing. That's already been done, Ron.
Yeah, I know. We're don't tell Jerry. So this is kind of episode number 1 tonight. Now last week was episode 0, so you can go. I don't know how you can go back and watch it because I don't know the title, but anyhow, I'll drop the link in here as Bill's kind of wrapping up here.
Okay, Lauren has Team Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Drones for Good, June 7th, 2020.
I'm doing my shameless plug here.
Lauren's doing his plug here. And by the way, guys, there is a Facebook page out there for this.
Yeah, Drones for Good International. In case you guys haven't heard, it's a fairly new group we've started up, and what it is, the group concentrates on all the good things that drones do. We've had so much negative media that it's there was a group out before that was trying to raise the bar, shall we say, for the things, the good things that drones do, not just shut down airports and annoy your neighbors and stuff like that. And myself and some other people have got together and we've put together the Drones for Good International. We've had some great backing. Haya Castellou from Drone DJ is currently working on a website for us. Romeo Dersher from DJI is fully backing us 100%. He totally, he's a good contributor to the group. And we strongly encourage everybody to, if you want to join the group, you're more than welcome. But the first Sunday every June, we're going to be having an International Fly Day. And we encourage you to let us know where your location. If you want to set up a group fly, we will post it on there. Myself and others have been doing media interviews and kind of publicizing this, as well as publicizing all the good things that drones do. And we hope that other people will pass it on. There's
Lauren,
my public service announcement.
Lauren, absolutely. And I'll make sure. I want Metro Drones. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. I'll definitely drop a link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check out that group. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. It's something that it cuts across languages, barriers, everything. Okay. It breaks it down. It gives us the common denominator of drones. It's just one of those things that we really all have in common, no matter where we're at. If you're in Australia, if you're in the UK, if you're in Ireland, if you're in Europe, if in the Middle East, if you're in South America, it doesn't matter. Okay. We really have this wonderful hobby in common. And I think to recognize the good things that drones do, I can't get enough of that. And it's nice to see, especially that there's a group that's forming with that. And I know Romeo Dersher is a tireless worker for, advocating, drones for public safety and drones for good. And, having him on board is fantastic. Being able to help you guys with a website, I think this is fantastic. And we'll do our best to get the word out. And I think, Marcus and Ron and I will definitely help get the word out about this, because it's something that it doesn't matter if we have a DJI or a Hubsan or an Autel or a Parrot. Okay. What matters is we have a drone. And,
what about a Power Egg drone? Is that
a Power Egg? I don't know about that. That's going to be that's going to be kind of slippery as far as that's concerned. Okay. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother.
And I do want to shout that I haven't talked to Lauren yet, but we want to get Lauren on Zino Nation sometime to go into detail, to really take a deep dive into what Lauren's doing here. I think it's very interesting. And I want to give a shout out to Metro Drones. That's Bill, who left a super chat here, but he also is Ready Set Drones subscriber of the month for February. So big shout out to Metro Drones. Bill's a great guy. Marcus and I got to meet with him and hang out with him at Spin Up a little bit. Hey, guys, I'm going to duck out here and prepare for my next show here. But it was great being on here with you guys today. I think we had a great show. Laura brought some super information to the table tonight. Information that really has got me interested. A month ago, I had no interest in the whatever they're going to call this new drone, but now I am now. So good thing. So good night, everybody, and and we'll see you next week. So and thanks for everybody joining us in the chat. Great group in the chat tonight. A lot of great comments and questions.
Be sure to check out Ron's show with Philly Drone Life on coming up in a few here.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, we'll see you, Ron.
Thank you.
Now that he's gone,
he
just snuck off so he could go test his.
He was going to go. You know what? He and Mike are going to be doing a show about the V-Copter Falcon. Okay, don't you kid yourself. All right. That's what Ron had to, because he's under NDA. He really couldn't say a whole lot to us. So he wanted to kind of keep it under the QT here. So
well, I wanted to point out there were some nerves touched tonight. Ron's was that V-Copter.
Yeah. That's good, Marcus. That's
he made his feelings very, very clear.
It was crystal clear. There was no ambiguity on this one at all. Yeah. So let's go ahead and share some closing thoughts. Lauren, if you want to go, and then Marcus, and then I'll wrap things up.
Just fun show as always with you guys. It's good for a little bit of a chuckle, and we have a good time. I think this summer we're going to see some interesting developments. A few things planned, a few things unplanned. But as Bill likes to say, it's a good day to fly.
Boom. Yeah, so I'm going to echo what Ron said, Lauren. You got me all refired up about the new Mavic. I was kind of hedging my bets, going, well, depends on the price point and so forth. But hearing you talk about some of the features has got me has definitely piqued my interest on that. But nearer term here, I do have that Zino 2. I hope that arrives tomorrow. That would be awesome if it did. And then also, I've had my FIMI X8 SE out on a roundabout. It went over to Ryan Duvall for a while, and he test flew it a little bit, and then he sent it over to Ron Brown, and Ron Brown's had it for a couple of months. But Ron put it in the mail to me the other day, and I'm looking forward to getting it back. Haven't seen it for a couple months, but he sent it priority mail, and believe it or not, it is currently lost in the mail.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, they say that tracking doesn't exist for it anymore. So anyway, we'll see if it shows up. That'd be awesome, but we'll see.
Did Ron get any insurance on it?
He did. So
okay, good.
Good.
There's, I know they'll do, I think 500, and I think that would cover the cost of another one, right?
It absolutely would.
Okay.
In any case, Bill, congratulations! Great subject matter tonight, and Lauren, thank you for your insight, and really an enjoyable show tonight, guys.
And anytime you want me to come on, just let me know.
It's always a pleasure. Talking with Ron and Marcus, and Lauren's fit in very well with us. And Lauren, first of all, I want to thank you for showing up and for giving us just some really top-notch information. It was fantastic. And I was on a little bit on the bubble, but there's no more bubble. Okay, I'm all in. I'm 100% in the pool on this one as far as that's concerned. And that was we had a great discussion tonight. It went so well. And, one of the things that I really like about this show is we try to keep a humor to some things. And I think that's really important, especially these days. There's just so much. Everybody's all tense about, COVID-19 and all that stuff. And, and it's a break from this because you get oversaturated with all that and it just drives you nuts. And, it's just like, here's my word about all this: common sense with all this, people. Okay. Common sense and be aware of your surroundings. That's what I have to say regarding this. There's a lot of good things to look forward to that we have coming up here. Our Zino 2s will be coming shortly. We talked about the Evo 2. It's imminent in terms of being able to be sold and get to customers, which will be great. This new Mavic, April or May timeframe, it looks fantastic. It really does. It's we got a lot of things coming up, a lot of good things looking forward to. The weather's going to start to get nicer. People are going to want to get outside, and that wind's going to die down for me, and I'm going to be able to finally get some great flying in. It's all good. It really is. And bottom line is this. I had a chance to pause and reflect today, because my oldest son turned 36 years old today. Ugh. Okay. He turned 36 today. Today was his birthday, and, I got him he wants an Amazon gift card. I mean, that seems to be the thing for him these days. And he was enjoyable, and, he was really appreciative of it. And that's the kind of thing, it's marking a passage in time, but, it's also, I got 3 kids. They're all in good health, and I have a granddaughter, and it's counting your blessings and being really fortunate about stuff. So, okay, I'm off my soapbox. I really want to thank everybody for a fantastic chat tonight. You guys were fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I want to thank Ron and Marcus for having me on Zino Nation, semi-regular, so to speak. I thoroughly enjoy that. I'm looking forward to when you guys have Lauren on. I think this will be fantastic. We can talk more about the wonderful, drones for good program that's going on. And there will be a link in the description. I will add that later on. So don't forget about that. With all that being said, everyone, have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week. And remember, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.